Hey, this is Dan here from Rune Silk, and I'm joined by one other, and that's none other than Damo for show, and this is the Beardmail podcast. So sit back, listen, and enjoy. Whoa, hold on a second. I'm joined by one other than none other but Mego for show? Hang on a minute, this isn't right. What's going on? For one, she's not even wearing a Rune Silk cap yet, but still. So we've got a bit of a switch up today. Episode 30 is a little bit wonky because Damo can't make it. That will be for another podcast. We'll find out exactly why. I think he had to have an emergency vasectomy or hysterectomy or something, or I don't know, boob enlargements, penis enlargement. We don't know. We'll let him tell the story about that. But anyway, we're joined by my lovely wife this evening. This is Mego for show today, also known as Meg. And welcome to the Beardmail podcast.
Thank you very much.
So this episode, we're going to slightly tweak it, and it's going to be called Meet the Wife. Meet the Wife or something. I don't know. We'll figure out the title anyway. So, bit of a crazy one. And we're going to find out exactly what our wives, other halves, better halves, ladies in our lives think of beards, beard fashion, what it's like to be married to a beard, and so we'll find out exactly.
I'm interested to answer some questions.
What we think. So what's it like? First off, straight off the bat, what's it like being married to a man with a beard?
I love it, actually, because it's very at the moment it's very fashionable, but best of it, I think, is it's the strength of it as well. I think it really just does define a man by having something natural rather than having to be clean shaved all the time. It's actually really nice to see how a face can transform, except for these. I'm not too sure on these.
Oh, no.
I'll get there.
This won't stay forever, but for those of you who are listening on the Spotify, iTunes, etc., Megan's actually referring to my mustache, so she's not too sure about the big type mustache on this occasion. But bearing in mind, I've got to cut my beard short for the beard competition up and coming. I needed some kind of facial statement to stand out from the crowd. Talking about competitions, so Meg's been with me for a couple of competitions now. First one we ever went to was the Broadbeard competition in Scotland. We drove all the way to Glasgow, and so what is it like watching a man step on stage and be ogled over by a group of judges and audience members?
Very bizarre. You've got to think you grow up watching pageants or even silly things at school when you've got girls modeling, or for me to grow up in South Africa, we used to have bikini competitions, and they used to do the whole wet t-shirt competition and everything else that went along with it. But men were always on the sidelines, giving a little bit of a whistle and a cheer. And now all of a sudden the role has reversed. And it's all about the men. And everybody's cheering and every man's jealous of the next one. And it's this really weird room just filled with testosterone.
Yeah, that's right. But flipping back on that, it's not all about men though. So for the British Beard and Mustache Championships, you're going to enter, right?
Yep.
So, and do you know what you're entering?
I don't. I just know that I had to enter.
So I've signed Megan up for the fake beard. So for those of you who are ladies, or maybe you're a man that doesn't have a massive beard, you can enter the fake beard category. So you have to make a beard and don it on. And there's some amazing examples out there. We've covered that in the beard competitions episode that Damo did before. There's a whole following of women, especially is quite big in the States and that sort of thing, women wearing the fake beards for competitions. But it should be pretty good, I think. I'm looking forward. I don't actually know what she's doing. I've seen some feathers and stuff like that. I think she's going to put together some crazy stuff. But yeah, obviously this will go out. So ladies who are listening, don't steal Megan's idea. But it's going to be really quite good fun anyway. But what is your biggest bugbear of beard in the house?
Finding the hair. It's everywhere. It's everywhere, especially when it comes to emptying out the Hoover. But whenever you sit and you play every single night with your beard, or when you're thinking, it's just everywhere. I wake up in the morning and it's in the bed. And the longer the beard gets,
The easier it is to find.
it's well, there just seems to be more of them. They just seem to be everywhere.
Yeah.
I know, that's my biggest, like, ugh.
I know when I was sort of first growing the stash before, we'd sit and we'd be watching telly and do a bit of a Netflix and chill, and I'm sitting here and all she can hear is, here comes the ASMR moment. It's like, as I'm literally just playing around with my beard, and I'd always know to stop because I just have a little side glance and the death look. I'm like, okay, I'll put the mustache down, leave the beard.
It's when it continues
clear
for longer than half an hour, then I'm like, okay, I'm done. No more.
Can't help it, because it is a bit of a comfort thing. I'm sure those of you out there in the bearded community, you'll also understand that it's you can't help it, right? It's there. I guess it's the same with, like, I don't know. Do you play with your hair when you've got your extensions in? Do you find yourself playing with it a bit more?
No.
No, just not like, oh, that's like different.
No.
Oh, what do you do? What do you do? I mean, it's just one of those things, isn't it?
Every man does it. I have noticed any man with a beard. There you go. There's the fucking culprit. Every man with a beard plays with it.
Yes.
Whether you know them, whether you don't, whether you see them somewhere else, they always play with their beard. It's almost like they're checking it's still there. Am I still a man?
I think it's making sure that it still looks good.
Yeah.
If you can't see it, you need to be able to feel it. It's like a blind man being able to look at his beard.
Yeah, but being at these competitions, you are a fly on the wall, and I don't think you will realize once. It's almost like, is it sneezing? Somebody sneezes, another person sneezes, so it hiccups. Yawning, that's it, yawning.
They're
One
infectious.
man strokes, and it's kind of like this bizarre Mexican wave of just men stroking beards. Like they saw somebody else do it, so they've got to stroke their beard.
Oh, absolutely. if we're talking to someone, if you're talking to someone and you do that, then the person automatically starts stroking their beard. Same as if you start playing your tash, the person you're talking to will immediately sort of like subconsciously just reach for the facial hair. It's like
is it like a mini competition to who has the better stroke of the beard?
I actually don't know. I just think it's one of those things that I think, because, well, most psychologists would refer to this as mirroring. So if you feel comfortable with someone, you tend to mirror them. So I think that's almost like because you have a beard, you've already got something in common. So therefore you automatically feel comfortable around each other. So therefore you mirror immediately. So it'd be interesting to see, actually.
To see if I do it on my
own.
No,
not if you do it, but those who do it and don't do it, to understand whether or not actually they feel comfortable around you, and do they actually immediately go for their beard.
No, so you all do it.
That's an experiment, and I have to check that out.
Yeah.
So, but it's always interesting. So beard. So what, beard or no beard? If I shave my beard tomorrow,
you'd have a divorce.
So look, see, you heard it here first, right? Men, if you've got a beard, you're going to have to keep it, especially if Mrs. likes it. But you say that, we see a lot of people on the Facebook groups, they're always saying, or, oh, my missus wants me to shave my beard, or she wants me to shave, or we've seen people where, even a situation where someone was going to a wedding and the bride-to-be was like, oh, I hope he shaves before he comes. And there was a huge debate about whether or not he should shave it, or whether he should just, I think he ended up just saying, well, look, I'm not shaving my beard, but if you don't want me in the photos, I won't be in the photos, which is pretty harsh. But
I do think that that's harsh, and I think that's unfair. We have friends and we have the loved ones around us because we love them for who they are. We shouldn't have to change them. There's been similar things where people don't want them to have vibrant colors in their wedding photos, but I think that's very selfish.
Yeah. There was a big heated debate. A lot of people were saying, well, they're obviously not your friends. Don't go to the wedding. Forget them. Beard. Don't shave your beard for someone else's photos. But but it's interesting to see the difference between a woman who loves, because there are women who love beards. Pognophiles, I think, well, it's not, pognophile is just someone that refers to as women, but it's someone who is a lover of beards. If you love a beard, you're a pognophile. And there are some women out there who absolutely love beards, and I guess there's some women out there.
I have a name.
You're a pognophile.
I don't want to say that word. It sounds really. Why did they pick that word?
I don't know. It is really what.
Or something that's of love.
If you don't know what it means, it does sound pretty savage. Like, I guess because it's quite linked to another file that isn't as nice. But
I know people who don't like a full-on beard. Like, I don't particularly like a super long beard. Only because I'm at your beard height. I don't really want to drown in it whenever I come and give you a hug. It's bad enough I got to fish through the moustache at the moment to kiss you goodnight.
Parting the tash. Literally have to kind of lift the tash hair up to say goodnight. And the worst thing is, obviously, whenever I always come in just after I've brushed my teeth and the moustache is soaking wet, and she's like, babe, you could have dried your face first. And I'm like,
it is a little, it's kind of like kissing a wet dog sometimes.
It's in the moment. It's in the moment, guys. You know what it's like, right?
But yeah, he still doesn't dry his mouth after he brushes his teeth.
I do. I do use a towel, but it just obviously doesn't dry properly
because he doesn't want to ruin his moustache for sleeping.
So what's too, like, you mentioned about too long? Well, I've been through various stages of my beard, but you were like, don't go any bigger than that. And I remember we were watching Vikings. I think it was King Harold, and his beard was too big. But I'm actually not that far from that now. But when I mentioned getting it trimmed for the beard competition and showed you how far I was taking it, which is going to be about here.
No, I think that's too short. Kind of like an in-between of where it is right now to like maybe here, that you want to go here. This is now nearly too long about here because I fit in here.
Well,
this is my spot. The beard shouldn't take my spot.
So this will give you an idea.
He's got it ready. Always measuring it.
Second ASMR moment of the podcast. Don't know what that's going to sound like. So I've got to go to below 5 inches. So when I get it trimmed, it's going to be about 4.5. So that's about here. So it's not too much off. It's a fair whack. I mean, but I think we'll still be able to get some good shape on it.
Problem is, I think that the shorter you go, the shape changes. And I think a beard that is quite rounded, so you've got this massive oval from like the forehead all the way down, doesn't really work. But when you've got that angle and it's got that really nice sort of sharp curve to it, then you need the length. And that's probably the most attractive.
So just for those listening on Spotify at the moment, or on the audio stream, I'm just measuring my beard. So I'm actually sitting at about nearly pretty much bang on 8 inches. I took a couple of inches off the other day. And every time I see my beard now, I'm like, I don't want to go to 4 or 5 inches, but I don't want to change my category either. But tip. Bottom lip. That's where they're going to measure your beard, guys, for the Beardmail competition. Sorry, just trying to get those ASMR moments in. Anyway, enough of that. That's just some random crap. So, what else? I'm trying to think now. So, I don't know. Ask me some questions.
How would you feel if I grew a beard?
That'd be a bit insane. Good to grow a beard. What do you say to that?
How do you feel with your beard?
I feel a lot more confident. I think because I've not got kind of that really defined like man jaw. So I think for me, it allows me to shape my face more to how I want it to, and it gives me kind of that bigger chin that I've always dreamed of having that I can never have without plastic surgery. I don't know. I think I like it because it's in the bearding community. It's full of people with massive beards, but in most of as most of you bearded guys probably have loads of friends that don't have beards. When you're around your small group of friends, you're probably got the biggest beard.
Yeah. In
your usual friendship circles. And for me, I think it's definitely one for me to stand out. If you're in a big group of people, especially when I'm networking and I'm doing business networking, I'm the guy with the big beard. Remember the guy with the big beard?
Everybody knows you as the guy with the beard.
Even at work, they call me, my official job title at work is the bearded digital handyman. So
and the kids know you as the bearded dad. Like all of our kids' friends.
Yeah, so I think it would be. I don't think I could be sans beard anymore. I don't think I could lose it completely. I might go for shorter, more structured. But then I kind of go from chop to grow, and I don't really know. I would say this is probably my favourite length at the minute.
Okay.
But yeah, I think for most men it makes them feel a bit more confident, a bit more sort of about them.
But it's natural. I mean, men grow facial hair not by choice; it's part of the body. So I don't understand why we were always trained that had to be removed. Even before, in like the 1920s, men would have beards from a certain age, but yet somehow we've all gone to this clean cut. And I just think it's just such a natural form.
It all fits in fashion, and I think essentially what it would have been was a lot of people back, go right back in history. A man with a beard would be seen as probably quite intellectual. Then people who were having to then put the suits on, because even in banks, going right back to the 1900s, they had sort of like the beard, the top hat, the curly mustache. But then I think a lot of stuff came around. I think a lot of it might have been to do with plagues, diseases, things like that, where people had to then started shaving because they thought that maybe that the beard was holding on to viruses. Because there was a lot of that around the pandemic recently. People were shaving their beard, saying that having a beard is dirty and it's bad for holding in germs and viruses. And during the COVID pandemic, people were being recommended to shave because it wasn't apparently this held viruses, which is a load of rubbish.
I'm sure that would be the same thing for hair,
head hair, fingernails, everything. So I think fashion has a lot to do with it. I think a lot of mainstream fashion. I was reading a blog article from the bearded Brit, Tony. He was talking. He's just trimmed his beard, and he's saying about how people in the pandemic started to grow their beards because they were working from home, which meant they could stay at home and then grow the beard out. More people on Zoom started to have beards. Now they're back in the office, they started to shave. So I think it's for people that work in a work environment that requires them to wear a suit. I think it's that sort of extra taking care of your appearance, making sure you shave every day. So there's quite a lot of emphasis on that particular look. So yeah, and I think with the army as well, a lot of them are saying that you're going to have to, just part of your daily routine and discipline was to make sure that you shave every day, all a part of that routine. Whereas I guess a lot of people look at people with beards and think that might be more of a lazy approach. For me, I guess it was not really lazy.
I think that there's more effort in maintaining a beard than there is to shave. Sometimes you can spend a long time prepping that guy in the morning. Sometimes even unnecessarily for bed, but you take care of it. I think obviously having like a wild beard, like Tom Hanks, like nobody wants that kind
Castaway, the homeless look.
Yeah, nobody wants that one. But to have it clean and cut, just personally, and like you say, a lot of people disagree with it. I just think it's natural. We just have to maintain it. It's the same as, a woman with their hair. Women are generally associated with long hair, but we're not going to have it go absolutely wild. We're going to maintain it. So surely it should be the same thing for beards.
Oh, 100%. Most of the people I know, if they do, you've got your certain types of bearded people. I guess you've got the people that just can't bother to shave, and it goes all kind of crazy. You've got your well-kept, neat and tidy beards, and then you've got your us lot who spend way too much time looking after our beards. We've got cupboards full of products.
But it's good because it means that you care, and it isn't going to go too crazy, and it always smells nice, or my house smells nice because of it as well. So I've got my only bugbear is the loose loose hair.
I think I do need to go back for a trim though, because I'm starting to get that Isam split at the bottom where it's sort of so I just need to just tidy
So what are your cons to having a beard?
So it gets trapped. Last week we talked about the Adventure Time podcast. I haven't actually told you about this yet. When I was when we were abseiling, there was a point where I looked to the left and I released the rope and I got my beard caught in the rope and the harness hook, and it pulled about 7 hairs out of my beard. That was pretty savage. Drinking from a can, nothing worse than when you get that ting as you take the can away from your mouth and there's a mustache hair stuck under the wrinkle. I think stuff like when it's really windy, I would love to have got a front dash cam of when Damo and I, well, not so much Damo because he obviously, you've seen the guys, he has his tied up, which I probably should do when I'm riding a bike. But if I'm riding a bike head onto the wind, it's like that. And it must just look hilarious as, you know, just sort of that down the street. Those of you on the, who are just listening, you should definitely go and check out the YouTube video on this one, just to see how crazy it is. Obviously, when we do get in the wind, it's hot. Sometimes it can be hot, like especially in this heat wave. Like it is another layer on my face. But then I guess it also kind of works as a bit of a shading. But like it is hot. Like if I get sweaty and stuff like that, then it kind of, yeah, it does create like its own little microclimate.
Do you think that if you shaved it off now, you would have this white, just from top lip down to chin and neck, just this white?
Yeah, I'd look like a Neapolitan ice cream, I reckon. I would be literally white and then like a bit tan and then like red forehead. Would definitely look like a Neapolitan ice cream. So I could probably never lose the facial hair completely unless I was going to like a remote island or in solitary confinement for a long period of time. Or just get it shorter so that hopefully the sun comes in. But I don't know. I genuinely don't know. Like I can't, it's a weird one because obviously I don't really see my skin unless I start taking apart, you know, parts of my beard to have a look at it. But you still can't compare it to the rest of your skin to know what you would look like.
Yeah.
But then you do see videos where people shave it all off, and actually they don't really look much different.
Is it a video or is it a movie? Because that doesn't count.
No, you see a lot of people like when I've seen a few YouTube videos where sometimes, you know, kids will see their dad for the first time after they've shaved their beard off and they start freaking out like, who's that? And then I don't think I've ever noticed anyone look different shades.
No. It's been a while.
Yeah.
It's been when we've been on holiday.
Yeah.
And sun holidays, I reckon
Well, I guess the best time to do it then is like the beginning of like the year. So you've had like July, October, November, December for your tan to fade. So maybe those videos are done when they're not.
Yeah.
When they're out of that summer period. So just don't do it when you've got like, if you've been to like Zante or Turkey and you've got like the most ridiculous tan, and then shave it off. Or do for the pure comical value of just to see what that looks like, because I reckon that would be quite hilarious if there was a difference. There may not even be a difference.
So I thought of the question. Do you get upset when people give you a hard time for having a beard? Like, oh, when you're going to shave it, or...
To be honest, I don't think I ever really get a hard time. Like, the only comments I tend to get are, oh, it must be hot with that scarf around your face. But I don't even really get that very often. And most of the time it's just like, well, to be honest, it's not that bad. But yeah, I mean, I don't really get I don't get hard time. I don't know about you guys listening on the podcast. I don't know if you ever get a hard time. I know some people might, if you know, from their employers and that sort of thing. But personally, most people, it tends to be the comments on, wow, that beard's incredible. Like, oh my, you know, that beard is insane. Stuff like that.
That's very bizarre, by the way, from a woman to hear men give each other compliments like that. It's a bit like you hitting on my husband right next to me.
Yeah. But that's the thing, like, but Damo and I mentioned this before as well in the podcast, you know, when two beardy guys meet each other or walk past each other, you kind of give that little like nod of like, you know, of acknowledgement. But that's something that you don't get from clean shaven men. You know, you don't go out for a shave, walk through Tesco's or other supermarkets are available, walk past another clean shaven guy and go, oh, yes then. Ooh, look at the shave on that. Ooh.
Depends where you are.
I still don't think that we would necessarily comment on how clean shaven they were. Like, whoa, that's a clean shave. Must have done that a couple of hours ago. I think the most frustrating question that we tend to get as bearded guys is,
how long did it take you to grow that?
how long have you had that beard?
That's probably my most frustrating question for you.
Yeah.
Because I hear it all the time as well.
How long did it take you to grow that? How long you had that beard? And
I
I'm
feel like you should have a card that answers these questions.
Haven't got a fucking clue. So I always just, I kind of just go, years. How long have you had that penis? Like, it's like, I don't know how long I've had my beard.
A couple of weeks.
Well, that's what Damo was saying at the beard competition. He kept saying, "Oh, clean shaved this morning, actually." But it's one of those ones. It's like, I guess for me as well, like from the age of maybe 16, 17 to 18 to 19, I always had some kind of facial hair. I hated the look of my face when I was clean shaven. So I always had some kind of facial hair, whether it be long sideburns or even to the stage with the Craig David goatee lines. And I guess from the Craig David lines, they just slowly just grew up my face until that one time I went to Reading Festival, didn't shave for like 3 weeks, and then came back and had kind of a bit of hair on my face. And I was like, okay, I'm just going to let that grow out. And then started to grow there. And then obviously everyone bought me beard care products for Christmas and birthdays.
Even beard care calendars.
Oh, the advent calendar was cool though. I mean, they're all right. The beard oils were a bit burgling, as Damo might say, but my mum got me a beard oil calendar, and behind each door was like different scents of beard oils, and it was quite cool, quite novel. Some of them were nicer than the others, and I guess that's where I started learning to like mix stuff, because I'd kind of take a bit of that, a bit of that, a bit of that, and I'd mix it in my hand and then put it in my beard, and it did kind of push me to then start making my own beard care products, I guess, which was quite good in that respect. But yeah, like, unless you know what the beard in your life likes, don't just get him loads of stuff that he's probably going to hate. Definitely don't buy it from the supermarket. Just a quick heads up. Plenty of independent beard care companies.
I don't think I've actually ever bought you anything for your beard.
You haven't, no.
Because I didn't have to.
No.
Instead, you make me stuff.
Yeah.
For my hair. Yeah. Even like my legs. Like after like waxing or anything.
Yeah, nice little oils and stuff. Your diffuser and stuff like that. I've made some nice stuff. Yeah,
you do make some nice ones. But you do need to start making more female products, I think, because there's not enough of the mix of essential oils as well, and everything that's natural, and the combination. It's so same, but just a different label and everything. Like, I don't get along with perfumes at all. I find them boring, or they're too much. But I've never been disappointed with the things that you've made me. So you just need to get some stuff done. And I know a lot of the women that I've spoken to at some of the events have all said, when will he do female products? They might be saying the same thing to every other beard care, but I just feel like they have a love for yours, because it does feel just that little bit more versatile, where actually that scent, if you put a couple more bits in that could actually easily be for women as well.
The thing is, I think I actually find women's scents are easier to make, because quite a lot of your essential oils that you get are very much floral based. Yes, you do get your woodier tones, which then men tend to go for and use, like the cedar woods and the sandalwoods and the various other types of wood, rosewoods and stuff, whereas you get a lot more variation in floral tones. So I find it a lot easier to play with those to make female scents.
So what's in the aftershave balm?
The aftershave balm it's actually a combination of all of the elements except for fire. So there is patchouli, lemon, bergamot, frankincense, and there is a fifth one that for some reason my brain's gone.
Not allowed to. It's your product.
Oh, whole leaf. So it's pretty much all of the elements apart from fire, because fire is quite intense.
Because that could potentially be a female smell. I mean, even Kasha, like over the weekend, they love that. They absolutely love that aftershave balm. She thinks that smells amazing. And it was the Dark Night as well that they've got. And my mom loves the Dark Knight. Your mom loves the Dark Knight, and that's enough woman, I think.
Everyone loves the Dark Knight. Y'all boys out there love the Dark Knight as well. Not necessarily the beard stuff. I'm talking about Batman, you know. But no, I think a lot of women would love to see. I think it's more the fact that men, especially bearded men in the journey of beard growth, tend to buy a lot of products. I think there's almost a slight bit of jealousy that comes in. It's like, hang on a minute, how come you've got all this stuff for your beard and all this? You know, where's my stuff? And it's like, come on, ladies, you've had all your stuff for so long. Let us have our shelf in the cupboard now, right? It's our area there. So I think quite a lot of beard care companies have probably been approached about making the female products, and I will eventually do more female products. I just think it's the confidence of trying to go down that route, and it's difficult if you've kind of pigeonholed yourself into a male brand almost to then spearhead off to female stuff. So it's got to be quite careful how you go through
just
that.
a his and a hers gift box is a good way to start.
His and a hers beard oil for the lady with the finest of moustaches. Rune Silk feminine wax.
Just hair care.
Well, that's fairly easy. But they're now products people use. We've got women use our products in their hair, so the bums and stuff.
This is what I mean. So there's nothing wrong with doing something for them. And you've got me, and I'd love to try all this new stuff I don't have to pay for.
So she actually tests most of my scents before they're released, so they are wife approved. So if you
Behind
do like
every man.
Exactly. We don't try and keep this Rune Silk based, but obviously, if you do like our products, you should thank her for signing them off. So, but yeah. But anyway, that's been amazing. We've already hit 31 minutes,
cool.
And that's about a wrap up from here. So thank you for filling in for Damo for show.
That's all right.
This she's a little bit slightly more attractive than Damo for show. So obviously you've got something better to look at today than
I was actually going to wear a fake beard.
But we need to get Megan. If you look up to your left and think positive and think deep, so you need to give a little Damo pose. You'll be pleased with that.
What am I doing here?
She's just doing a Damo, slight Damo pose, but this doesn't really kind of work if you haven't got a beard. You kind of got to look up and think deep. Look up to the left, think deep, and there you go. There's a Damo pose for that one there. So guys, hopefully Damo will be back next week. Fingers crossed he will be back ready, healthy for the next episode of the podcast, where we're going to fill you in with everything that happened at the London Craft Beer Festival. There's a few funny stories to tell. Hopefully you've enjoyed this random podcast, but tune in next week for some funny stories, mainly just because Damo hates craft beer. And yeah, thank you for listening, guys, and we'll see you next time.
Bye.
Thanks for listening, guys. Take care.
See you in a bit, Dante. In a bit. Bye for now.